Right, everybody. Let me tell you what we're doing here. Today, I've been I've been efforting strongly to get my guest, my friend Bianca Guess, on, and she's going to be joining us. Thank God my equipment works this time because the other time I had Bianca scheduled, which we worked on for quite a while, my stuff took a powder, and it was like I was so frustrated with this. I was just like, anyways, long story short, if you're going to get into tech, podcasting, doing any kind of recording stuff, be aware. Tech stuff, it breaks all the time. So it's like, just get resilient. That's why you got to stay. That's why you got to work out, because when you work out, you have a little more like, your stress level drops. We'll talk all about that with the pro here. Bianca, we just started recording the video. You look great. Thank you for coming in. It's like, it's nice to see you.
Easy peasy.
All right, we're going to get this thing started here. So Bianca, it's 5 segments, about 10 minutes each of the recording sessions, where, as I just said, we're going to record through each break on the video side of things. So I'm forewarning people, because I had one situation recently where I had to edit out one of our break sections because some things were said that were not quite like appropriate. Okay. And so my guest was like, oh, can I? And I'm like, yep, I'll edit that out. No worries.
I'll do my best to be appropriate today.
No, hey, you can be inappropriate too, but it's just like, if you say it's just, Tom gets a little salty sometimes. If you see any of my video, and again, people, everybody out there that's watching this, our fans, thank you so much. But when you watch the #Dad Talk videos I do every morning, and I get salty, I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. Be forewarned. Sometimes Tom gets a little crazy and it gets a little salty. All right. Just be forewarned. It's all good. It's no disrespect. It's just for emphasis and like me being me. So, okay. That's all set. All right. So I need you for about an hour. You look great. You ready to roll?
Okay. I'm ready.
Okay. Here we go. This is easy stuff. Really fun. Let's go here. Last week, Dr. Anthony Avellino, pediatric neurosurgeon, just one of those guys, was back. Called that one the journey, everybody. He's been on a journey, that guy. Craziness. You want to check him out because it was a really fun session with Tony, Dr. Avellino, however you want to refer to him. Please check that one out. Today, got a first timer who is a friend who have gotten to know over the last year or so, and known her husband for a long time. I actually wanted to get him before I got her, but you know what? He's busy as heck, and so we'll get him someday. We'll talk about that. Bianca Guess, former collegiate athlete. Let me give her a little quick bio here, everybody. Former collegiate athlete and coach turned fitness professional. Now, this is let me tell you guys right now, this is a very understated. Her portfolio of work is a lot larger than this. So she's a very humble woman who is just like, okay, let's just get it out there. Okay. So this is very small, but she's done a lot. And this is why you want to pay attention to this episode, because she knows a lot about the fitness industry and a lot of other things as well, parenting, marriage, all of that kind of stuff, how you can climb up and out. Bianca earned her undergraduate degree in Kinesiology from Saginaw Valley State University, where she competed in track and field. And we're going to talk about that and how track and field really helped her. Team sports, love it. So great. She received her MBA from Tiffin University. Congratulations on that. Has all but her dissertation completed for her doctorate. And again, me being a non-traditional, as I've talked about many times on this radio program, everybody, going back to school and continuing your education is so vital to your mental health and to your life that I encourage it. And I'm so, I'd like to say I'm very, very proud of her for her efforts, and her husband, Dr. Guess himself, Lorenzo, who's got he never mentioned, I used to work out with him when we were on the road with football years ago. Never heard one word about it. That's the thing about being humble. It's all good. Working on a dissertation. Wow. Awesome. After several years in collegiate coaching, Bianca shifted her focus to all things fitness. I underline that because I like that. Bianca is a fitness competitor. She's, another understated. We'll talk about that in a second. Fitness competitor. Yeah. It's a little more than that, but we'll get there. Fitness coach and holds several certifications for the American Council of Exercise, ACE, and other certifying bodies. I told you it was a short bio. Could be a lot longer. I want to welcome to the program my friend Bianca Guess. Welcome, lady. How are you?
I'm awesome. Thank you. It's uncomfortable listening to people talk about you.
Does that make you feel uncomfortable?
It's weird. Yes. Yes.
Well, I appreciate you and everything that you're doing and the role that you've taken on at the university. And I remember when you and my bud Dewan were walking through, and I was on that bike that day, and you were doing the interview process, and that was what about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, something like that.
A year in August. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So funny how things change, but you're in the place that you always probably were meant to be. So welcome to, now you're on radio with me and video. So welcome to another place you're meant to be.
Thank you.
All right. You know, the first thing we like to do on the show, Bianca, is this is your life. Talk about your family, the children, give them some love. The kids love hearing their names on the radio if they hear it on the radio or they hear it on the podcast. So go right ahead. We got about 6 minutes to go in this segment. Please talk about your family, and then we'll get going here because the first point is going to be talking about you as a child. So go ahead, lead into that, but talk about your fam for a few minutes, would you please?
Okay, so you already mentioned the doctor. Dr. Lorenzo Guess is my husband. We have traveled the world, feels like. We've been together for almost 20 years. We have a 13-year-old daughter, Nadia, who is like the best, our favorite. We have almost 3-year-old fur puppy, Mercury Fresh, we got him during COVID. So anybody who got an animal during COVID, they just are different specimens.
Are they?
He's rotten, but adorable. He completed our family.
That's so great. Well, your daughter's doing some pretty cool things with her athletic journey too. I mean, she's got, we'll get into that in a little bit here when we start the team sports thing, but pretty proud of that. I saw some things on Facebook with that. So congratulations to Nadia on that one. You know, she's following in she got some big shoes to follow.
But we tell her, like, we want her to be involved in sports just from like the health perspective and the social perspective of it, because we were both collegiate, like student athletes. I think that people put this expectation on her that she is also going to do the same thing, and that's not the goal. Like, we just want her to have fun. So, but we keep her busy because we know keeping them busy keeps them out of trouble. So volleyball in the fall, basketball, which we coach in the winter, and then track, which we also coach in the spring.
So when do you guys have time for, like, you guys, when you're coaching, travel, because with the grandchildren that we have who are very, very active and good athletes themselves, it's these kids nowadays, it's so different. All of the competitive, the money, we'll talk about this on the show a lot. Well, you and I will probably talk about this in future episodes, but it's crazy how things have changed just in the last 10 years. So, Nadia's going through what your guys are experiencing, this just explosive growth of this individual training. And you're an expert in that. We'll talk about that. It's crazy, isn't it?
We are very focused on not overscheduling her. So she does one activity at a time. So volleyball is volleyball, and she plays for the school. There's a small little break, and then she does school basketball, and then she does track. So we haven't gotten into like the club or AAU stuff yet because we don't feel like it's necessary. That's like, she trains with us. So she's lucky that she has 2 personal trainers who take care of her, and she has facilities to do stuff in. So it's fun. It doesn't feel like work.
It's an amazing, and I used to do the same thing with both of our daughters, but Lauren, especially the younger one, we would go out and do some training at IM West and hit in the turf arena and that's the beauty of working at the university and taking advantage of our opportunities. So it's all good. Okay, let me reset this a little bit, everybody. Bianca Guess is with me. I'm calling this one the Fitness Authority. Bianca, you just mentioned a little bit about don't overschedule your kids, and I want to just kind of touch on that for a second, because You are a fitness professional. You've been in every aspect of the fitness industry for a long time, and now you're in a different capacity at the university, which has kind of elevated your status. But for our kids, and I love talking about to parents and grandparents, how we can stay focused like you guys are doing. But, we both know Coach Izzo really well, and he's always been a proponent of cross training and playing multiple sports and doing this. And so would you take a couple seconds here? We got a couple minutes to go before we go to break, and I'll give you the signal when we're coming close. But could you talk about the importance of what you just were talking about for Nadia and other children that are out there and young people that are out there about cross training, please?
Well, I mean, the overscheduling thing and starting them too early, I saw a lot of my college teammates who had been running AAU track from like fourth, fifth grade. After our first year in college, they were burnt out already. I didn't start running track until I was in high school. Like, I had a teacher who saw something in me and was like, I think you should try, and it changed my life. So like, I started later in life, but we did competitive cheer for a little while in high school. I was on the basketball team, the worst basketball player ever, but I participated. And it just like, it allows you to get a break. I mean, not only does it work different muscles, because as a runner, I mean, all we do is like move forward. We don't change direction. It helps with injury prevention. It helps with like mental strength, because you're not always, basketball was just fun. I didn't care necessarily about being the greatest. Track, I put a lot of pressure on myself because that was my sport. And so, like, let them have fun. That's why we do it. Is the winning is like the bonus.
That's it. That's it. And we're gonna go to break here in a second. Here, let me reset this thing. Bianca Guess is here. We're gonna talk about this in depth, everybody. Bianca's story and weaving in where you guys can draw some tips and some ideas and some parallels to maybe and perhaps what is happening with your life. Again, Bianca Guess, the fitness authority, Dr. Guess's wife, another Dr. Guess, Dr. Guess, Dr. Guess. I'm Tom Matt. We'll be right back. And that is how easy that is. That's number one. It's simple, super easy. If my producer will grab this, I'll send this file over. This is how it works. Move this over. I send the file over once I do a few more production things when we're post show, and then he polishes it up. I don't do a lot with the video, a little bit, but we'll do in the fifth segment. I might not have mentioned this, but just messages to our younger self. This whole show is about messages to our younger self anyways, but I break that out as well. So what you were just talking about, I just want to give you a heads up because maybe I forgot to mention that.
Oh, you told me. We're good.
Yeah. Okay, good. And then, we do thumbnails and everything for YouTube. So we're going to jump right into your bullet points here as an overactive chat. We'll just start right where your bullets are. And I got to do a read here for one of my sponsors. Next 3 segments, I do little reads. So just bear with me and you'll get it. It's simple. This stuff is easy. Here we go. Second segment of the Tom Matt Show is sponsored by Craig Stiles, Ameriprise Financial, best guy in the world. Full disclosure, both of our sponsors, and we got another one coming on here, looks like pretty soon, which is super cool and great for us because it helps us promote more things and get our word out more. But for this segment, Craig Stiles is our financial advisor. He has all of our retirement money. Thank goodness. Once I separated from the university, Sandy separated from healthcare, McLaren, all of it went to Craig. We don't worry about diddly crap. We just do our thing. We do our radio show. Craig comes in. He's our financial fitness guru. So if you want to get to know Craig without making a phone call, go to our website, tommattshow.com, and look at financial fitness, where you find those 12 little categories, little cartoons that we have there, little thumbnails, and look at financial fitness and any of the other ones that might be applicable to what you're doing. Get to know Craig a little bit there, because there's like 20 plus episodes through the 13 years we've been doing this radio program. Craig can help you plan for your future the life you want today. And that's what he's doing for us. So again, full disclosure, with the right financial advisor, life can be brilliant. Be-ism. Call Craig 1-800-528-1355. His local number is 517-483-4893. Craig.styles@ampf.com. Offices are located locally here in mid-Michigan, but because Ameriprise is a huge company, if you are hearing this and you're in California or Texas or wherever, you can always send an email or text us or send us something to the radio show, and Craig will get in touch with you, and he'll point you in the right directions to the right people. Stations that carry the show have carried the show. I'm always grateful because of radio and syndicated radio. Things are always shuffling. I just like to mention some of the stations that have carried us and still carry us. First off, of course, is WGHN in beautiful Grand Haven, Michigan. Will Tiemann, Wendy Hart, thank you so much for giving me the confidence way back in the day to put us on your station, Grand Haven, Michigan, 92.1 FM. You guys are the best. WJIM 1240 AM in Lansing, Michigan, the flagship of the Michigan Talk Network. WJRW 1340 AM in Grand Rapids. WKLQ 1490 Muskegon, Whitehall. WYPV FM 94.5 in Mackinac City. And of course, the big flamethrower at Michigan State University, WKAR AM 870 News Talk. Sundays at 5 and 102.3 FM carrying us there. Thanks again to Craig Styles for creating Desideri Analytics, which is his proprietary algorithm. And that's why we are making light of weighted decisions. Steve and Ivy Gruber are the best. They own the Michigan Talk Network, and they've carried us on the syndication version of the show of broadcast radio for a long time. Lastly, 4 books on Amazon that I've written. Please go check those out. You want to know more about me? Go for it. All right. You want to know more about our guest, Bianca Guess? She's the bomb. She is a wonderful, wonderful addition to our crew of just knowledge base. Bianca, we're going to jump right into your story here. Just start at the beginning, because this whole episode's almost like a messages to my younger self, because your whole life has been like just the ladder. It's just climbing and climbing and climbing. But your first bullet that you sent me, you specifically said you were an overactive child. Why did you choose that? What was the purpose behind that?
Because the person that you see now, this is who I've always been. I've been a mover and a shaker my whole life. I just didn't always know where to put all of that energy, but my parents they never knew what to do with me.
So if you're speaking to other parents and grandparents out there now that you are a professional and you work at the university and you have a really, really important job, what are you going to advise other parents and grandparents out there that have similar situations, and now they have all of this tech to go along with it, and it makes things even crazier?
Well, I would say that, I grew up in the 80s when there weren't a lot of opportunities for girls. So that was part of the problem. Is I just, I have an older sister who we are complete opposites. So she could sit in a corner and read a book, and I just moved all the time. So there weren't things really for us to do. Now, though, I think there are so many opportunities for kids, boys, girls, no matter what it is, it doesn't necessarily need to be a sport. There are even fitness classes for kids if they don't necessarily want to play a sport, but they need to be able to burn off that steam, get some energy out. So trying to make kids sit when that's not naturally what they do is not going to help them. I was labeled like a bad kid for a long time, but right? I just am energetic, and that's still who I am. I mean, I don't have as much energy as I did before, but I have a lot of energy for my peers, I would say.
I would respectfully disagree with you on that one. Because, I've seen you around the gym and you're there early and you're getting it done. But hey, you know what? The whole thing, the takeaway I took from that was channeling that energy into the right way. Because when you put young people in a box and you judge them from a very long view, you're not really getting a good representation of what the kid and no disrespect to young people at all, but everybody's a kid to me. Right. It's all good. I mean, you have to invest in these young people. And that's the whole thing about investing, training, working. I want to ask you really quickly, because as your bullet says, you're an overactive child. Nowadays, it seems like we in primary education, K through 12, that a lot of the physical education programs have been kind of pushed aside. And it's like, what they cut out varsity sports in the junior high in Lansing, which was a mistake long ago. I mean, what's your take on that, Bianca? We got a couple minutes before we go to break here. Would you please comment on that?
I just feel like if for no other reason, it just gives them an outlet. Like, think about, do you want to sit and have people talk at you all day? There's nobody who wants that. And so a lot of the behavior issues that I think that we see in schools is because they just need to burn off a little bit of steam.
Exactly. And then you have the food. I mean, what are we feeding our young people? That's that could be a whole nother, but just give me a snapshot on that about the food and the prepared lunches and all of the snacky and all of the liquid calories that are out there.
Well, I mean, it just the easiest options are usually the most unhealthiest. I don't know if that's like but ours packs a lunch. So we have like fruit there. If she eats it, I don't know. She's 13, so you never know. But she has like good options. But those, again, that contributes because the sugar spikes, and then the lows of what happens throughout the day, and the energy, and they're like hormonally already all kind of over the place. So yeah, to take the opportunity for them to move around out is crazy to me.
It's so important to embrace this. I'm going to carry this through, Bianca, because we're going to come up on break here in about 30 seconds. Bianca Guess is our guest today, everybody. The fitness authority. We'll get into this more and more. You see where we're going with all of this, because this is very, very important to me, to her, to all of us. You know, we want our kids to thrive. We really do. And that's part of the whole mission of what we do with some of these episodes and the journey into higher ed, with talking to the college students like Anna Thomas we had on last show or a couple shows ago. I mean, if you want to check any of that out, please do. We're here to assist and just give you some tips and some ideas and just kind of plant some seeds. Hopefully they take a little root. Again, Bianca Guess is my guest today. The fitness authority. We got a lot more coming, everybody. Stick around. Tom Mann Show. So you see, it's just kind of a funsy. We just have a good, people have told me, you know, Tom, keep doing what you're doing because there's not enough of this good. And I'm very, very grateful to hear that from people, because a lot of times when I first got going in this thing, it was like, you don't know who's listening.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like when you write, you know, and you do, and it's you just don't get that immediate feedback. You have to be confident enough that there are people that are listening. And if it's just one person that we impact today, it's all good. It's
Absolutely.
all good. I'm talking to the camera too, so I'm totally sincere with this, you guys. You know I am, because that's that. All right. So track and field saved your life. Here we go. Got another read to do, and then we'll jump right into it. Here we go. So excited to get this show. Oh, I didn't start. So excited to get this show started here. Keep talking to my guest. Bianca Guess is just wonderful. Third segment of this radio program, for the moment at least, is sponsored by Thomas Sandy Matt, because we like to promote our own things, and we may be having another sponsor taking this slot. So don't forget how to contact us. Okay. All of our social media, Facebook, Instagram, not so much the Twitter thing, even the TikTok thing's going crazy. YouTube, the easiest way, everybody, just go to our website, tommattshow.com. Please just go to the website, tommattshow.com. You'll find everything there. We've got video links. We've got all of the podcasts. You can search our guest names. We've worked very, very hard over a lot of years to get that website so that it's turnkey for you to go there. If you're new to the show or you're new and you're just picking this up, please take advantage of it. It doesn't cost a dime. It's all good. There's so many good people there. It's awesome. Our mission is the 3 C's. The 3 C's of sharing stories. Community, collaboration, cooperation. Build those into your life, everybody. We got a shot. That's all we got to talk about. The 3 C's, sharing stories and ideas, the refinement zone, as I like to call it, the RFZ, because you can either retire which is fine, and you go that way, or you can refire and you go up and up and up and up. And that's, and then hey, hit me up. You want any more info on that? Go to the website. All right. Bianca's here. Wonderful to get her back, because we had her once and then my equipment took a powder, as I said earlier. That was fun. Yeah. That's always good. All of you fledgling podcaster tech people out there, stick with it. Just keep plugging through and work through and listen to Bianca, because if you need to lower your stress levels, this is the person you want to really follow, because the fitness experts, they know what they're talking about. Leading into that, Bianca just talked about your overactive childhood and how your parents channeled that into your athleticism. You have in your next bullet, and I'm really interested to hear about this story, track and field saved your life. Why do you feel that way?
Because as a preteen, teenager, again, I told you I was labeled a bad kid, overactive.
Is that true? Seriously?
Yeah. Like literally my name growing up was like Bad Bianca. They called me BB for forever. My family did. And so, and I have two cousins who we were a trio.
Oh,
the three of us. And the other two are boys. And so I think that there was like some stereotypical of like, oh, well, this is what boys do, but like, what's wrong with this one? Why is she? I came into the world this way, but didn't know that it was happening, but at like 13, 14 was really depressed because I didn't know like where I fit. I again
seriously had that happening for you as a 13, 14-year-old. You do.
Yes, because I grew up in a community where we were one of the only Black families living in like a residential, like that owned a home. And so I grew up we were the only ones. And the school I went to, there weren't a lot of Black kids that went to the school. I couldn't figure out how I fit. So like junior high was really hard.
Okay. So the track and field is a big part of that whole dynamic.
Yes.
Got it.
I had an English teacher, Barry Walks. If I could ever find him, he like saved me. He also helped me get to Saginaw Valley. So I was in his English class and he just said, Bianca, I think that you should like try track. I think that you would be amazing. I don't know what he saw in me, but that's part of the reason why we coach, is because you just have to have one person who really believes in you. My parents were awesome. I have amazing parents, but it just was something about him. Like he believed in me before I believed in myself, and my parents didn't really necessarily know what to do with me. And finding something where I was like better than, like I was good at something. I had never felt like I was good at something. And I wasn't great, but I was good. And my parents invested in me. So he was like, why don't you try being a hurdler? And I had no fear. I was like that kid. So I said, okay. So I tried hurdling. Again, my parents were awesome. They paid for me to come to Michigan State track camp to learn how to hurdle. So I
did that work?
It did. I thought I was going to come to state. Before that, I thought I was going to come to Michigan State and run track. But after that experience, I thought this university is way too big for me. My high school coach was from Saginaw originally. And he said, I think that you should just go and look at Saginaw Valley and see if you like it. And it's a
really good school. Saginaw Valley is a good school.
And I loved it. And at that point, I wanted to go to school for education. And Saginaw Valley was like the best school in the state for for secondary education degree. And I mean, like it just gave me something like a focus that I didn't know that I needed. It also, my dad was a Marine. And so it also like helped further develop the relationship with my dad. So he was unofficially my coach. My mom probably had several heart attacks dealing with the two of us, but like looking back, it just was such a gift.
I love it. I love that story so much. And what I'd like to kind of touch on real quick is you said some things that, and you said some of the things that are qualify you as an empath. You see things in people, you reach out to people. I feel the same way with students at the university. As you know, you've seen me working with students many times. I still continue to do it. Find a lot of joy in that, because that intrinsic value that you derive by seeing things in people, taking the moment to see something in someone and feel their energy, and then help them get to that next level. That's really, I think that's understated a lot, Bianca. And I'd love for you to kind of comment on that, because being in higher education now, you see this a lot, and you've been in, you've worked with people forever. So what's your take on that? I mean, just seeing that thing in people, like they saw in you as a young track person and hurdler. What do you think about that whole concept?
I had a conversation with somebody a couple of years ago who had been in collegiate athletics her whole career, and the life just became too much. So she asked me, like, when you left, what was it? How were you able to deal with it when you left? Because it's a huge, athletics and fitness. People who don't know, it's two totally different worlds. And I had to think about, what is it about coaching that I love so much? And it really is watching somebody just develop and grow and do something that they didn't think that they could do. And so, I mean, not as a personal trainer, I've been able to do that, as working with the students to develop them to teach these classes. They get so excited, but they don't realize how much work goes into being a fitness instructor. I am able to do that every day.
That's just a wonderful take. And that's exactly right. You, in having your, even Sandy has said to me that, I have this kind of radar that I see with people, and sometimes it's almost, you can't turn it off. And it's, you have to be really, really careful how you channel this energy and how you are receptive to people, where I can be a little over the top, which, you know what, it's fine, because I've learned how to channel that. But at first, and in the fitness industry, I learned, Bianca, 14 years ago, when I first got certified, one of the first things you learn as a trainer is don't offer unsolicited advice, because people may not appreciate that too much. And we got about a minute to go before we go to break. So I just wanted to set that up and let you know. What's your take on that, about trainers who and offering unsolicited advice, that kind of thing?
I think you have to know your audience and who you're talking to. I offer unsolicited advice all the time, but I build relationships with people. So, and I'll tell them, take it or leave it. Do what you want to do with it. I'm not offended if they're like, I don't care. Because if I have something on my heart, I'm going to share it.
And that's a good point. And one of the things that I do at the gym, because I do train at Michigan, as everybody knows, I train at Michigan State University 5 days a week, Monday through Friday when I'm in Michigan, is my biggest thing is watching for people to be safe. And I don't know everything about the gym. You'll never find a trainer that knows everything. Maybe Lorenzo Guess, maybe Bianca, but they have a PhD in this stuff. We can talk about all of that, but it's the safety factor. Don't get dinged. If you get dinged, take it from a guy who's been dinged like so many times. It's just so damn frustrating. You're listening to the Tom Matt Show. Bianca Guess is here. We'll be right back. I don't want to jinx myself, but I'm on a pretty good streak, for a while now, that I haven't had. I'm not even gonna. I don't even want to say.
Knock on wood. Right now.
But you know what? I figured it out, and I'm okay with being where I am now, at my age, at my size, at my everything, and managing things. Mike Shingles has taught me that I'm using that term managing a lot more, because of my arthritic knees. And, when you're an active person, and understanding where these long-term chronic conditions can be and how you manage them. That's the whole thing. So it's great so far. Let's keep going. Let me get Brock's read going here. Here we go. Greatness. Love it. And after you see this and hear it, it always is always, not that you're bad now, but it's going to be way better the next time. And then you can start thinking about, well, it's just that you get used to my flow, your flow, how we the interplay together. And then you take it where you think it's important. And that's the important thing, is finding you subject matter experts, and then letting you kind of help our audience by understanding what I'm doing. That's kind of what I'm trying to say is after the first time, you sort of know what we're doing with the show because we're different. I mean, it's just, we're way different. Here we go. Fourth segment of the Tom Matt Show is gratefully, and I sincerely say it for both of our sponsors, Craig, and Brock. But this segment is sponsored by Brock Fletcher, selling team of Keller Williams. He's a huge supporter of Michigan State University athletics, NIL, helping students, doing good things. He was our buyer seller agent, full disclosure, for Big House Holt, Little House Lansing. What's up, Mike Deadman, our buyer's agent when we bought Little House Lansing. Without those guys, we just, I don't even know. I have no idea. You want to get a hold of Brock. Couple of numbers for you. All right, here you go. 517-853-6408 is the office to Keller Williams, the signing team of Keller Williams Realty here in mid-Michigan. Here's the number you want, though. This is the key one, 517-303-3262. That's the number to Brock's cell phone. And again, I've said many times that he is the best when it comes to his telephone etiquette. He changes his voicemail every single day. He'll tell you when he's returning messages, what time of the day, and you can expect him to always be sincere with his promise to do that. He will, absolutely, guarantee it. And again, just like Craig, because he's the subject matter expert for the reality of real estate on this program, you can go to our website and you can listen to, I think he's got about 15 or 16. That's how long these guys have been with us. I mean, a long time. And so you want to get to know them. You got questions on real estate, especially where things are now with the cost of money. And so everything's different. And that's why you got to find pros. You guys, when you cut corners and you think you're saving money with any of this stuff, Bianca will tell you this with the fitness industry. When you find those pros, you're getting what you pay for the most part. Now, I'm not saying that's not 100%, but it's pretty darn close. Okay, again, kwsellingteam.com, our website, tommattshow.com, where you can see at the bottom of the homepage those two banners. There's several banners there for some of our friends, but our sponsors are the top two. Craig, Brock. Click on those banners, boom, away you go. Or send us a note on our contact box, and I'll get a hold of them for you. So please do that, because without them, we can't do this radio program, podcast, video stream, all the other things that we do now. All right, Bianca Guess is here. Bianca, great conversations, seeing things in people, calling this one the fitness authority. When your coach, your teacher saw that in you as a teenager, and we were just discussing that a little bit at the end of the previous segment, about seeing things in our students, and because we are around young people all the time, COVID really did a number on our kids. Yes, and I'd love for you to, because your next bullet is your accomplishments being a mom, I'd like to tie that together with the COVID situation, because you have a teenager who was obviously impacted by COVID. Let's kind of take that and just say, hey, this is why our kids need even more empathy from us. Correct? Am I going down the right road here, there, Pro?
Yeah, yes. Socially, it stunted them. I think it affected everybody differently. I tried to explain to Nadia, and was trying to explain to her during that time that she was in a great situation. We have a nice home, a comfortable home, pick a room and go and do your homework and hang out, sit with your dog. But there were so many kids who were just like left alone. Parents had to work. They were neglected. They didn't get what they needed. Food had to be delivered. And so watching socially over the last couple of years, we've been having the same conversation with the college age students that we've been having with the middle schoolers, because they were in limbo for a little while. I will say that I think we're getting finally back to some semblance of normal, but they want it. So as hard as they may fight and say that they don't want to go and do something, it's necessary. A couple of years ago, she ran cross country. She hated every second of it, hated it. But it was like right after, schools had kind of like fully opened back up. And I just said, you can be outside, it's fresh air, you need to move. This is not about being great. This is about being in an environment, because at that point we still really didn't know very much about like what was happening. She had no interest in playing sports indoor with a mask on. So, I mean, it just was like it built some character of sometimes we have to do things that we don't necessarily want to do, but they're good for us. And
so what happened after that experience where you didn't force you two, you and Lorenzo are not the type of parents who are going to force your kid to do something, but
I will say in that instance, Tom, sorry to interrupt you, but that one I did force.
Okay, well, that's where I was going to, exactly where I was going to, because I knew, I knew you were going to say that, because sometimes you have to draw an exception, right? You have to say, okay, I'm the parent, tough love here. We're not supposed to be best friends with our kids. You got to be a parent. I mean, kids look to us for the support and the guidance, and they need boundaries, and they need to know who's in charge, even though they try to play like they don't. They do, right? I mean, so good for you for doing that. So what was the end result of that?
Yeah, I mean, she was proud of herself, just watching her improvements. I think running is one of those things that it's such an individual sport, especially cross country, of just being able to see how she improved and what happens when you work hard and stay consistent. It was hard. She still talks about it. I never want to do that again. That's fine. The goal was like, we're going to do it for a year. You see if you like it. If you don't like it, you don't ever have to do it again. But
would you encourage other parents to think that way? At least give it a 1-year trial balloon and just see, or something along those lines, just to give kids an opportunity just to explore. Because if we don't sometimes give them a boot, sometimes, right, they'll sink into the couch and get their iPad out.
And I mean, and I think it depends. You know your child better than anybody else knows them. For us, it was like basketball is her sport. She is obsessed. So my whole thing the whole time was, you've been on the couch for a year and a half. So go run. You will be in better condition for basketball this season. And they all ran. We coached them that basketball season. We went undefeated. And part of the reason why we went undefeated is because they all ran cross country. We just outworked those other kids. It was fantastic.
Oh, they just had the conditioning, and conditioning will win in everything. I mean, conditioning, like, we'll talk about that in the next segment, because I want to continue to talk about your best accomplishment of being a mom and of being a mom. Let's finish this segment talking about that, and other parents that are out there. What are some secret tips, some secret takeaways that now that Nadia is 13, you've learned the ropes. You're getting to learn the next ropes that are coming, the teenage ropes. Those will be different. But for those parents that are out there with the kids that are perhaps 12 and under, what are some of the takeaways that you'd like to share?
I think you just have to know your children, and they are all individual. I mean, we only have one child, but you have to treat them all individually. Authenticity is like so important to me. So I just want her to be able to like fully be herself, because I don't feel like I was allowed to fully be myself for a long time. And continue
until that person saw that thing in you.
Yes. And so like continuing to build relationships, whatever that means for you and your child. I feel like her and I will always be connected, because we've been connected for her whole life.
Yeah. Well, she's 13, so probably almost like 14 years. So yeah, I mean, you are mom. And that's the thing about mom, and that communication style, because of the tech and everything that goes on now. I think sometimes we lean too heavily into the tech, and there's got to be, I'm going to do a video on balance. I've done a couple I'm going to do another one on balance, but this is balance in your life. There's so many different areas of your life that you have to have balance, but the communication styles with our children. I mean, my granddaughter, God bless her, she's so awesome. She's 10 years old. She just got her first cell phone because she just started middle school. I was on the fence. That was a parental decision. But you know what? When you start getting affirmation, because I send my affirmationals messages in the morning to certain people at different times, different people. When you get an affirmation from your granddaughter out of nowhere, makes you want to cry. Yes. I swear to God. It's so great. So these tools that we have, but that's the thing. Bianca, give me 30 seconds of managing tools with our kids, and then we'll go to break.
I think you just need to, it's a way to communicate with them. So we sit down and we have dinner together every night. We do have time where we just are relaxing. They have a time like she's in our presence a lot of times. We may not have conversations, but she's with us. So the fact that she still wants to be around us. We are TikTok people, so we send each other like videos. It's funny. It just is a way to stay connected.
See, that's the way you need to look at this, everybody. And we're going to go, I'm going to carry this through. We're going to go to break. Bianca Guess is my guest today, everybody. The fitness authority, a lot more, obviously a lot more than just fitness here, because Bianca's going to become a regular on the show and talking about all of the group fitness aspects of her career. But on this first one, it's really getting to know her in our forum. And it's wonderful. It's greatness, because we all go through different journeys and we all need to help each other get better. Bianca Guess is here to help us get better. The Fitness Authority. I'm Tom Matt. We'll be right back. Beautiful. Love it. What do you think?
Thank you. Good. It's awesome.
Fun, huh?
Yes.
Easy. The thing about it is it's just conversational.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing about long form, where I talked to Izzo yesterday, and he said, yeah, I'll come on your show. And I said, now, Tom, I do long form radio. I can't do that long. I'm like, yeah, you can. It's better. It's like, because we can get, I know their schedules are, so that's why you got to get him when the timing's right. Like I might get him when he's over in Grand Haven, at his place over there, when he's relaxing summertime, and just sit down and just shoot the breeze. That's the whole thing. When I get Lorenzo, which probably is not going to happen until spring now, because they're
right.
Yeah. Because we go ahead and let's come back. We'll talk about this in a second here. Let's so people know what the heck we're talking about that are on the recording session. Here we go. This is the last segment. By the way, we'll do messages here real quick in the fifth segment. This is last segment. This is plug also. So, which means if you want to, share your email, phone number, talk about speaking engagement, promote yourself, promote books, promote whatever you want to promote. Teams, I don't care. This is your slot. Do you have things in mind? Do you know what you'd like to, if you want to do this is your shot. Okay. So,
okay.
You know what you would want to talk about if I throw it to you?
I mean, I still have my own personal training business on the side. It doesn't get as much attention these days, but it's still there.
You can explain that, and it's like, because you're a high-end trainer, it's like, hey, I'm still doing it, but you got to understand what's going on here. Maybe my rates have gone up because I have limited capacity. I mean, that's the way it goes, supply and demand. Mm-hmm. So however you want to do that, that's great. Okay. Email, phone numbers, whatever. Here we go. Fifth segment, bonus segment, carried on several stations and on the podcast, of course. And anybody that's out there that missed the fifth segment, you can always get this right here on the podcast, of course, because this is where we do the funsy stuff, the word talk with the kids, the Gen Zers, and then the messages to our younger self, which we'll be doing here in a momento with Bianca Guess. But first, let's get Bianca's contact info if you want to hire her for speaking engagements, coaching, personal training. Good luck getting on her schedule, but you know what? Maybe it'll work out. She's going to share the details. And if you can get on Dr. Guess's schedule, so much. But I've been trying to get on his schedule for like years now. So, but hey, it's all good. It's fine. People are busy. How would you like people to connect with you, ma'am?
yguessfitness@gmail.com. Just the letter Y. Guess, Guess, my last name. Fitness@gmail is my email, and that's the easiest way. I do have Instagram where I share, it's family, fitness, and football, basketball. That's life.
And that is our life. Being Spartans is one of the best things in the world for the most part. Sometimes it's more challenging, but
yes.
That's why we're Spartans. And I was I was talking to Dark Quest and Ard yesterday about this, not to drop names or anything, everybody, because there was an event prior to the game yesterday that we went to because we attended the football game yesterday. But I was talking to Dark Quest and Ard about this, Bianca, and I asked him, I said, how have the people been in your career? Because he's retired now from the NFL. He was a first-round draft pick. He did very, very well, very, very talented, great guy, and going to come on the show actually. And I said, and he said, well, some were good and some weren't so good in the relationships that he established as a professional. And I said, what about your relationships here at the university? He said, and because I was kind of a leading question, I knew where he would go. He says, you can trust everybody here because we're all family. If you're a Spartan, you're part of the family. We suffer together. We love together.
That is true.
And he agreed. He said, yes, he agreed. So, all right. Messages to my younger self. What would you like to talk about?
There is no right or wrong decision. When you make decisions, just lean into it. The universe is guiding you towards something, whether you know it or not. We have been, the doctor and I'm going to correct you because you said I was a doctor's wife. The doctor is my husband. But we have almost 20 years, 14 moves. I don't know how many different institutions. I can't even keep up. But, in that there have been some opportunities that have been presented for me that I kind of walked away from because I believed in his vision. But there were still times that I thought, like, why would I do that? Like, trying like second guessing myself, but it always turns out to be right. Like opportunities, like it's crazy. So when I look back, I don't believe in coincidences. I think all things happen as they're supposed to. So when I talk to young people and they are so just like frustrated or like things are not moving as quickly as they can, I just tell them, keep doing the work. If nothing else, my work ethic is probably one of the things that I like admire about myself the most. I work hard and people notice. I don't necessarily have to be out in the world. People notice, and opportunities that I couldn't have even dreamed of have presented themselves to me.
Very well said. Very well said. Very well. Again, circling back to why we need to have our empath muscle, I'm going to call it your empathic muscle. And sometimes some people may not, you may not feel this vibe, and that's totally fine. But for us that do, it's very important to understand what Bianca was just talking about, because young people second guess themselves. We all do. And it's because you build your life upon memories and experiences. And as you climb this ladder, you hopefully will learn from all of these issues and mistakes. So you continue to get better. And again, in the fitness industry, it's proven. I talked to Bianca when I had Dr. Avellino on last episode. I specifically asked him about this. I'm going to specifically throw this one to you, the same question, because it's the empirical evidence is out there about fitness and health. I mean, it's everywhere, and it's nowadays. I'm really, really glad because it helped me. But can you please, expand on that a little bit, and then we'll jump back into your last bullet about the health benefits and the empirical evidence behind it. I mean, look at Dr. Guess and what he's doing, what you're doing, almost Dr. Guess. Please comment on that.
It's little by little. It's one day at a time, one foot in front of the other. And that's in fitness, that's in everything. So I tell people, prepare, don't plan. When you plan for something and things don't go your way, you don't know how to recover from that. If you prepare though, when things don't go your way, which they won't most of the time, you can transition better because you were prepared. So with working on my doctorate, it's taken me much longer than I had anticipated, but I just kept learning because sports and fitness is what I love. And I don't know, to prepare is better than to plan. And that is when I decide that I want to compete, if you want to think about it from that, when I'm ready, I work all the time. This is not like a 12-week where people are like, for 12 weeks, I'm going to do this thing. No, this is work all the time. And for a small period of time, I just grind a little bit harder, but I am preparing for the lead up to what that looks like. And that's just how we live our lives.
You have to look at this as a return on investment, everybody. And Bianca Guess is our subject matter expert today. And Bianca is a awesome resource for us in the fitness industry. Just love talking. This is one of my favorite topics. This in mental health, because the mental health aspect, you got to get your head right to get your body right. You got to get your body right to get your head right. They work hand in hand. And it's vitally important for us to understand how integrated everything is together. And going down that path now, Bianca, in your last bullet, and I really like this one a lot. I want to give you a few minutes to talk about this. The best advice I ever received was from my father about doing work you love. What does that mean?
Well, first of all, I could cry. My dad passed in 2019, so it just is. He was he was a Marine. He did several tours to Vietnam, so he was, he had seen some things. An electrician by trade. We had a very good life, but he didn't necessarily love the work that he did. And like I said, track and field brought us together. And so he was like, whatever you can do to figure it out. I had a terrible experience at many places when I was a coach. And I just felt like I didn't realize that it was because I was a female in a male dominated. I didn't have any mentors at the time. So I didn't know that this was something that everybody was experiencing. But I'd say, maybe this is not where I'm meant to be. Maybe I need to quit and do something else. And he'd say, you found something. Figure out how to make, because you know what you love, figure out how to make money doing what you love, because there are people who work their whole lives who never figured that part out. And he was one of them. He made good money, but he didn't love the work that he did. He just was a resource because everybody needs an electrician.
Nowadays, if you follow the advice of our subject matter experts, everybody, and you do exactly what Bianca, or at least attempt to do exactly what Bianca was just so clearly articulating, I can speak from my own perspective that the work that at the university that I did before I retired, and now continuing with the fitness industry and our media careers, it was an enabler to get us there. And thank goodness that I have my health and well-being and everything day by day. It's just a good thing to continue to do the work, because that, you pay the dues. I had a kid recently, Bianca, and we're going to come up out of time here. But that's all right. I want to tell you this quick story, but I had a kid at the gym recently, just like a couple of weeks ago. He was asking me a bunch of questions about what I do and things. And he says, I want your job. Because I was telling him, I do my gym work. Which is part of my job in the mornings. I'm there very early, and then I come home and I do my production work, and that's my day. And then I spend time with my family. And so that's that. So I told him, I said, man, I spent 35, 40 years getting ready for this. That's the way to go. Give me a takeaway on that. And then we're going to close this bad boy. Please give me a takeaway.
I just feel so blessed to be in the position that I'm in at Michigan State. It's so fun. I get paid to do that. It's a lot of work, but I get paid to do what I would be doing anyway. It's awesome.
And you got a $300 million facility coming in 3 years.
I'm so excited.
And we'll talk about that on the next episode here. So Bianca, please share your contact info one more time for your personal training, if they can get a hold of you. And then I'm going to wrap this bad boy.
yguessfitness@gmail.com and yguessfitness on Instagram.
So it's Y, the letter Y, everybody. Guess, just like it sounds, fitness @gmail.com. All right. Got it? If our show fits your group's mission or business, we want to be of service to you. My guest today has been the fitness authority, almost Dr. Guess. I'll start calling her Dr. Guess. I'm going to start referring to you as Dr. Guess. I don't know if I'll call you Bad Bianca, but but maybe when I see you in the hallway and you're doing some training or something like that, always remember, everybody, before you can share love with others, you got to love yourself first. That's what Bianca will tell you. She gets you in the gym. I close the show, every show with that. Thanks again, Bianca, for being here. Sandy, Craig, Brock, Samantha Medved, one of our former students, Alyssa Guadani, used to work at the gym down at University of Georgia. But lastly, of course, I got to say thank you to Mitch Anderson. Tom Matt Show's production of Boomers Rock Media. We want to bring your story to life. Thank you so much for joining us. We are out. Bianca Guess. Let me read it there. Let me find her. Where'd that bio go? Still recording. It's fine. Former collegiate athlete, coach turned fitness professional with over 20 years of experience. Talking about Bianca Guess, my guest that we just finished. Earned her undergraduate degree in Kinesiology, Saginaw Valley State, MBA. Super smart mom. And I did not know that she is when she does the personal training, it's only for moms. So we're gonna come up with a little concept here, and it's gonna be sweet. And that's what I'm living for, is doing all this good stuff. So hey, hope you guys take some good things out of this. That was a really good episode. They're all really good, and I appreciate everybody that sticks around, watches this, and so share it, do whatever you do. Like, subscribe. The drill. Okay. Watch the hashtag Dad Talks on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok if you have that. I don't put too many of those up on YouTube. YouTube gets a little funny about my cursing, but hey, it's fine. It's all good. Have a great day, everybody. We'll talk to you next week. Peace out. Thank you, Bianca. You're great.